Good day, everyone. This is your host, Paul Lawrence Van. I'm honored to be with you for another episode of Wealth Academy Podcast. Now, welcome to another enlightening episode of this podcast where we connect with global thought leaders who are reshaping the way we lead, live, and grow. Now, I want you to understand today we have the distinct honor of welcoming Cecilia Di Pierro, a leadership expert based in the heart of Florence, Italy, the beautiful country of Italy, a city renowned for art, culture, and Renaissance thinking. Cecilia brings that same spirit of renewal and transformation into her work with leaders around the world. With a strong focus on conscious leadership, emotional intelligence, mindset, and the power of presence, Cecilia helps leaders unlock their potential and lead with authenticity, clarity, and compassion. And without further ado, I want to welcome Cecilia. Cecilia, how are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, excellent. The sun is shining, Paul.
Yeah,
Normally, I say the sun is always shining for me, but today is shining even brighter because it's a
fantastic.
great honor for me to be interviewed by such a great person and leader as you are. And I'm very honored to be here in front of the audience well, all people who are listening to us.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Now, Cecilia and I, we had a pre-interview before, and I wanted her to talk about her where she came from. Beautiful city. If you could share just a little bit about the city that you grew up in, and then now making that transformation over to Florence.
So, okay, as I always say, joking in Italian.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll tell in Italian and then in English. Lucana di origine, Fiorentina di adozione, which means I was born in Basilicata, a little teeny region in South Italy, but
Yes.
then I moved to Florence. So I can say that I was adopted by the city of
City of
Florence.
Florence.
And I'm proud to have been adopted by Florence because Florence is, according to me, the most beautiful city all over the world. I traveled a
Yes.
lot, but I think that Florence has got something magic which, uh, allow me to say, doesn't exist in other, let's
Another.
say, locations or places. And
Yes.
so I moved to Florence because of family reasons, because my mother had to move our family here because my father was dead when I was a little child.
Sure.
And so we had to move because she was an obstetrician and she couldn't care. Let's say, well, not that she didn't want, she was an excellent mother,
Yeah.
but she couldn't, let's say, care with
Here.
little children because,
Um,
babies are born anytime during the day. So
absolutely.
since she couldn't be with us, she was forced to, let's say, to move us and to another location. And
Yeah.
so we all moved to Florence with my sisters. We are four sisters, and each of them has got a different history. I decided to study languages here in Florence, and
Uh-huh.
now I'm working here in Florence. And so this is the reason why then I decided to stay here in Florence.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Beautiful location, by the way. Of course, a lot of people don't know this, but I've been to Italy before, and I know it's just a beautiful country, and it's an honor to have you here. And I know with your mother, she put in all the effort with having children. I know about children because I'm one of 10 children to my parents. Five boys and five girls. Yeah, so I understand the family dynamic for sure. Now, Cecilia, as you just mentioned, you were based in the historic city of Florence. How has the culture and legacy of your surroundings influenced your leadership philosophy? Because we're all leaders. People often think that a leader is only a person with the title, CEO, president, vice president, but every individual in the world is a leader. And because of that, we all have to live our own lives. So you're a leader.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so thanks. That's a great compliment for me. And I think that you're right. As to your question, I would say that tradition and culture in Florence are the leading features.
Yes.
I mean, Florence is a city which is living out of many, many years of history. there are, even where I live, I mean, I always say on the high top, let's say,
Yes.
top of the city, piani alti, well, top floors, where I
Yes.
live, I just, let's say, get in front, I go out on my terrace and I see the cupola di Brunelleschi's cupola, and this is something which really impacts me and affects my mood also,
Yeah.
because I can be
It has a
how can I
certain
say?
energy.
Yeah, I can be sad, I can be blue mood or something like this. It can be raining. Nevertheless, I'm always happy when I look out of my window and
Yeah.
I see this huge cupola, which is a work of art which was made by human beings. Brunelleschi was, let's say, a normal, an ordinary man, just like me, like you, like
Yes.
everybody who is listening to us. And
Mhm.
so I would say that history and tradition
So,
really affects you as a leader, because it transmits you, it delivers you some basic values, which
yes.
then you can hand over to other people.
Yes.
And in particular, if you are an enthusiastic person, like I consider myself a very enthusiastic person.
Uh-huh.
And if you are an enthusiastic person, then obviously you're going to admire this huge beauty, and
Yes.
inevitably you're going to hand it over to other people,
Other
because you
people.
don't want this culture, these values just to be your values. You want to give and to hand them
Credit.
over to other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much for that. And oftentimes when we look at leadership, there's something called conscious leadership as well. How do you define that, and why is it so critical in today's just really fast-paced and high-stakes environment? A lot of times people who are working, collaborating with other people. The pace is fast and change is a constant. So how do you focus in on conscious leadership as you defined it?
Oh, that's a great question. And it really, let's say, it's a huge commitment.
Yeah.
And I thank you for your question, because it means a lot to me. I mean, being a leader and fostering or promoting leadership for me means to be aware of my values and other people's values.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it doesn't only mean to be aware of it, but to, let's say, to deliver, to
Yeah.
make other people aware of these values. And so, to this purpose, I think that it's crucial to
Mhm.
also focus on a key question, which at the moment is attracting so many people, which means time management. At the
Absolutely.
moment, a lot of people are dealing with time management. Everyone is asking questions about, oh, how can you organize your time? How can you cope with everything you have to do during the day? How can you, let's say, meet customers' requirements and so on? And for me, a good leader has to have a very a good structured time management scheme.
Yeah. So
So
they can
time for
avoid,
me is very important.
yes, and so they can
And
avoid burnout as well.
sorry, I didn't catch.
I said also so that people can avoid burnout because that's taking place quite a bit as well. They're just overwhelmed because of the time and making those connections. I want to also at this time, Cecilia, acknowledge we have a Master X, the ultimate summit of summits. We think that may be Arafat. And then we have Lorenza in Norley. Yeah, so we have
Lorenza
people.
is a colleague.
Yes, yes. And so we have people who are listening in on this interview, and we thank them for their time, taking that time out, because we know they could be doing something else. But so we appreciate and thank them for being here. Absolutely. So when we look at, Cecilia, when we look at work with global leaders, of which you've done, because you have also the translation business. And you work with companies from around the country, United States, and other countries as well. What common leadership blind spots do you often encounter, and how do you help leaders address them? Because sometimes people in their own country, they're only seeing it from their perspective, but there's more than one perspective that's out there.
Okay, so you mean if I understood your question correctly, you said, how do I help, or I mean, how do I
Yeah.
support
Yeah,
leaders?
yes, there are blind spots that some leaders have. So, in your experience with some of the people you've worked with from different countries, such as the U.S., and I believe you work with lawyers, how do you help them avoid the blind spots that may exist for them?
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so now I got your question. Okay, yes, it's very important, first of all, to distinguish between, let's say, different countries and inevitably different cultures, because law in Italy differs from American law, and even
Yes,
cultures, even mentality, even the mindset is completely different.
exactly.
So according to me, to answer your question precisely, much attention has to be paid to let's say to different interests, well, to individual interests, not because I want to be, let's say, to be that you have to be self-centered, but because you have to consider this cultural difference.
Yes,
And so I mean, you have to consider specific interests, specific cultures, specific goals in your country, rather than trying to share
that's one
culture, which, for
perspective.
example, which is
Yes,
typical. Yeah, because I mean, it doesn't mean that I want my culture to be your culture, but
right.
inevitably, my culture, my principles are different here in Italy. My
Yes,
mindset, people I live with, is completely different.
yes,
So it inevitably influences the way you think and the way you approach others. And
exactly.
obviously, you also have to consider this in your approach to your customers, because
Mhm.
I'm going to have something to do with with
Yes,
US lawyers and
yes,
not Italian lawyers. Because, I mean, just to give you a practical example, last year I was working with different lawyers from the States.
yes.
And just to give you an idea how different the mentality is between Italy and USA, there was a lawyer. He's a very famous lawyer,
Uh-huh.
and since he knew that I love Bruce Springsteen, and he's playing drums while we were talking, and while he was asking me questions regarding the suit we
Yes,
were dealing with during the conference, he
uh-huh.
immediately started to play. Oh, Cecilia, just a moment, I have to play drums. And so
Yes,
I was shocked, because
uh-huh.
in Italy, they would have never done something like this.
Uh-huh.
Because if you're a lawyer,
Yeah,
here you have to be very, very professional. So
right.
you have to sit there, you are in front of the customer, you are in front of the court, you are in front of the judge.
Yeah,
And so when I saw this, and I was smiling, not laughing, because it's not a good word to say laughing, but I was smiling because I thought, oh, this is the difference between Italy and
and US.
US.
Yes.
Mm? So this is uh, but this is also, it makes work funny and amusing, because I always have to have fun when I work. I don't want my job to be, let's say, I have to work because I have to gain money. I want my job to be as amusing as possible, and I also try to, let's say, to deliver my philosophy, my idea of job to my customers.
Fantastic. I also want to point out this right now. We have someone by the name of McFrancis that's with us right now, and we want to thank McFrancis for being with us, and we honor your time as well because we know that you can be doing something else today. Yes, absolutely. So thank you so much for that, Cecilia. But we do have people on here and they are really interested. Now, one of the questions I have involves emotional intelligence. And we know that emotional intelligence is very, very important in today's workplace and also in the workforce. Um, and the presence that it plays in shaping great leadership. Can these skills be learned and developed when we look at emotional intelligence?
Oh, that's a great question. They are all very interesting questions and all very challenging for me because I know that you are an expert of this topic. Even Arafat, who is listening to
Yeah,
us, you are both experts. So I feel very a little bit, let's say, excited and thrilled at the same time because
yeah,
it's a very difficult question. But I
yeah,
try to answer as best as possible according
sure.
to as what I think about this.
Okay.
So I think that actually it is an individual approach, and I would say that we can all learn from each other. And how can we learn from each other? Having a mutual discussion and also trying to understand
Yeah,
each other. And by doing this, we can deliver and transmit our knowledge
yeah,
without, and this is very important for me,
mhm,
without imposing our ideas.
yeah,
Because if there is a kind of, let's say, there is a kind of exchange of opinion which is
sure.
coming out of our discussion, then you've got shared ideas. It's not your idea, it's not my idea. We talk about something, and you can say, okay, so my approach is this, and your approach is this. And this is how, in my opinion, how I conceive this, let's say, important question.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's so important because when we look at that emotional intelligence, it's about individual. Let's say if they're going through some adversity and they need to know how to manage their emotions, their feelings, and also when they're sharing, let's say their adversity, they also find themselves in a position whereby they have empathy as they share what they have experienced. And it's been really becoming a normal part of what a leader should do and they should know, because we know that things are different for each employee and each organization. So it's very important that people take from that. But it's great to see, and you had just a great comparison as well. So thank you for that. So
You're welcome.
yeah, so when it comes to focusing on evolving leadership from reactive to intentional, what are some actionable ways leaders can begin making that shift today? In other words, let's say if there's a challenge within the organization and they don't want to be reactive because reactive may very well position them to say something they shouldn't say or hurt the feelings of the employee, but being more intentional, keeping the employee at the front and center to help them to continue to grow and to develop as a result of being more intentional about improving their status as an employee with the organization.
Okay, that's another great question, and I thank you. All great questions. Just like you, Paul. You are a great person. All great questions coming from me, from you, and I hope that I answer your questions
You have.
as maybe you expect me to answer. I don't know. At the end, then you're going to give me a mark.
No, everything is fine.
Okay.
We're just educating our listeners. Yes.
Okay, so to answer your question, I think that we should try to, let's say, to start and to foster a positive shift, shift in leadership
Yeah.
today. What do I mean by this? I mean, leaders can focus on improving and on fostering, developing communication
Yes.
because according to me, communication is the key element
Yes.
of a good leadership and of a good relation among all people, not just leaders, among everyone, between you and me, all over the world. And I think that they can foster and improve communication by trying to be as transparent as possible, by
Yes.
trying to promote personal growth. If, for
Yes.
example, a leader notices that someone is, as
Mhm.
to say, blocked, has got a kind of limited communication
Yeah.
because he or she is shy or is afraid of speaking out what
Yes.
they think, then this is what I mean when I say to try and be as transparent as possible
Yeah.
and to be also as clear as possible. As I always say, I'm filterless. I consider myself a filterless person, not because I say whatever I want. For example, if I think that a person, I'm not going to say you are stupid.
Right.
I'm when I think I'm a filterless person, I mean that I try to really promote good communication
Yeah.
between me and other people,
Yes. Yeah.
as to avoid
Communication.
any misunderstanding.
Yeah, communications is one of the keys because a leader can't share their vision, their mission, and their goals without being able to communicate with their organization and with some of their, even with some of their competitors. So yes, communications is king, as they say, king and queen, because it really communicates the vision for the organization. And a leader without a vision is not going to go very far. And they must be able to communicate it so that everyone within that organization can share it to help out in a more competitive and give them a competitive advantage in their industry as well. Yes.
So you said a leader without vision is not a leader, and you said the right, a crucial expression according to me, because
Yes.
as I say, this is not vision, this is illusion. You
Right.
think you are a leader, you think you communicate, but you don't.
Right.
So this
Absolutely.
is very important what you said.
Yes, yes, yes. So I think people they really get that, and this is very important to do that. So one of the things I looked at, Cecilia, is what are the challenges you seen leaders face when trying to align their personal values with their organizational goals?
Uh,
And then,
okay, so mhm. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
okay, you can go on. Uh-huh.
Okay. Sorry, I thought
No problem.
you had not finished. Okay, so I think that one of the greatest, of the biggest challenge
Mhm,
that leaders face is that of aligning
mhm.
personal values with with collective
Collective.
values. I
Yes.
mean, everyone has got specific goals, individual goals.
Hmm.
And I think that the biggest difficulty every person has, including leaders, is to, let's say, combine your goals with with collective goals. So I think that they should try to get over conflicts, to try and do their best in order to get rid of personal conflicts, personal fights, and in order to express, let's say, these values. I think this is very important for me.
Hmm.
And uh, to this purpose, I would say that they can focus on their own values, but considering that their values have somehow to let's say to go and to get hand in hand with other people's values, because otherwise you are just egocentric, you are just focusing on your ego, and
Hmm.
you're not dealing with other people's welfare or wellness.
Yes, that important word ego is very important because some leaders they may find that with that title that that's all they need, but they need much more than that. They've got to have a little bit of everything. As you stated, the communications, they have to have negotiation skills. They have to have, as you mentioned, for transparency. There's a lot of different factors that weigh into there. So very points very well taken. And but there is a way for leaders to get better, and that's one of the goals that we all have. We want to become better leaders because better leaders make better organizations. Better organizations make better communities, and it strengthens the communities as well. It's not one dimensional, just the job is more than that because the employees are coming from the community, most of them from the local community. So you want to strengthen that for sure. And one of the things, and thank you for your response, many organizations are struggling with disengaged teams. In other words, there's a lot of dynamics taking place with the workforce and the workplace. How do you guide leaders to re-inspire and re-engage their workforce? For example, if we use the example of the lawyers in the States, how would it differ there compared to, say, differing in Florence?
So I think that more or less this question has got something to do with the questions are answered before, and
Yes,
which means okay, considering different cultures,
yes,
different mindset, different traditions, and somehow I would focus again on good communication.
yes.
According to me, good communication, transparent communication is the key. I don't think that actually it will let's say solve our problems
Right.
because otherwise we would just live in a wonderful world, no
Yeah.
problem. But I think that fostering communication
It's-
is really the key to improving, to even improving the job, the work related environment. And so
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
between me and you, among various employees, between among managers, among
That
how do you say,
employees.
directors, among
Yes,
workers. So actually among everyone who is working in a company.
exactly. And in your capacity, of course, you're a freelancer. So even with that capacity right there as well, it's a little different than being a full-time employee with an organization. And how has being a freelancer really helped you?
Okay, so actually, it helps me a lot. It means a lot to me because, I always say I chose to be freelance.
Yes.
Nobody told me that I had to be freelance because I had an excellent job. I was employed in a
Yes.
pharmaceutical company.
Uh-huh.
I gained a lot of money. It was a very, very, let's say, uh, it was safe, and I gained a lot,
Uh-huh.
but I decided to become a freelance
Yeah.
because I'm a very how can I say, free person.
Right.
I want to organize myself. I want to organize my time.
Some
I want to go to the
flexibility.
swimming pool. I want to eat, to go to the beach. I want to go out with friends.
Uh-huh.
And so this is the reason why I decided to become a freelance.
Yeah.
And it is very important for me,
Mhm.
however,
Sure.
to recognize that I chose to be a freelance.
That's it.
So I don't accept when I hear and when someone says, "Oh, I haven't got any time for me because I have to work." I don't accept this.
Sure.
Let's say
That type of philosophy.
this excuse,
Yeah.
because according to me, if you are freelance, you have to find time for yourself and for work as well.
Yes.
If you want
Absolutely.
to go to the swimming pool, you go to the swimming pool. But then
Exactly.
you know that you've got something to do. You have got some scheduled work. You have some delivery date. You have to comply with terms and so on. And you want to go on holiday. Okay, you can do everything you want, in my opinion, if you organize yourself.
Yeah.
And this is
Well,
this is very important for me.
yes. And going to the pool is about wellness. That's very important. It's about well health.
Yes.
Yes. Including that wellness because too much stress is just too much stress. So, absolutely. And let's look at the future of leadership and how should today's leaders prepare to meet with confidence and purpose? Because we know so many companies and organizations around the world are in change. They're in a change mode now. What do you see as a capacity for it to improve in the future when it comes to leadership?
Uh, Okay, so I think that actually we can do a lot in order to live a better future. I say even better than present because we come from, okay, our past is past. We live now in the present, and even the present, I think. we are better than we were in the past because we
Yes.
learn from our mistakes. And so in the future, it can even better, according to me. And how can it be better? By trying to involve
Mhm.
people and engaging people and having them understand that they can do something much better than they are doing at present.
The
I
present.
don't mean that we can do wonder. We are not, at least I am not a magician. I can do magic,
Me
but
either.
I think that, okay, I think that nobody here is a magician.
Yes.
Anywhere, if we want, we can do something better.
Yes.
Obviously, there are some unexpected events which inevitably affect your life, affect you as a person. And for example, me, myself, my car just stopped and I couldn't do anything against it,
Uh-huh.
but it was something unexpected. And I tried to, let's say, to consider this, let's say, negative event as something which which taught me how I can be and become better in future by trying to not be as, for example, as nervous as I was when my car just stopped. I had
Yes.
to go somewhere, but I was very nervous. But then when everything was fixed, then I said, "Oh, Cecilia," I said to myself, "Cecilia, you're stupid because you were so nervous. You really got bad temper, bad mood. You were nervous. You did a lot of swim just in order to relax yourself, but you were even not living your life as good as you might have done
Exactly.
because of this situation.
Mhm.
So you can learn from the past and you can try and, let's say, improve the way you are. And you can also try to transmit others your mood, your let's say way of approaching life.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, one of the things that I want to share is that a lot of organizations with they have disengaged teams. In other words, uh, they don't have alignment. One department is doing something different than another department when they should be properly aligned. And how do you guide leaders to re-inspire and re-engage their workforce? In other words, getting them back on track so that they can move forward and they can meet the vision that they have set out for them.
Okay, so I think that you can really try to have a good relationship to your, for example, considering a company, there
Mhm.
are managers and there are employees, there are workers, there are, let's say, different professional figures.
Yes.
According to me, if managers or the leading figures note that there is this non-alignment between them as chiefs of the company and employees, then I think that they can try to talk, first of all, to talk to
Yeah.
their collaborators,
Mhm.
try to have a good communication with them,
Mhm.
try to understand if there is something which they're not happy with. It might also be, for example, someone might not be happy because he or she thinks that they're doing a lot, but they're not paid enough. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
could also talk about wage, for example.
Sure.
And or if, for example, I see that someone is just being very how do you say in English, trascinare. I mean, you're just walking all the day long, you're not working, you are just like this oh,
Uh,
what time is it? So it's 8 o'clock. Oh, I'm looking forward to having the my day finished because I don't want to work any longer. What time is it? So every 5 minutes I watch my watch, so it
yeah.
means that I'm not satisfied.
Yes.
And
So that impacts
the
the productivity.
right, and trying to motivate
Yes.
people, I think that it's a good strategy. But
Mhm.
in order to motivate people, as far as I am, I mean, I talk about me because I know myself very, very well. So if I were the manager and I saw Cecilia, who is not working properly, she's let's say a kind of uh, she's being lazy all the day long. She doesn't want to come to work any longer. She's doing a lot of, she's absent and so on. So
Sure.
I would try to talk to Cecilia, ask her some questions. Why are you like this? Has something happened? Or maybe is there anything wrong which we could improve together? Or maybe are you not satisfied because you think that you work, you do too much, but you are not gratified? Even gratification, according to me, is important. I mean, you have to gratify your collaborators, because if you take it for granted that Cecilia works because I'm employed, okay, you
Uh-huh.
pay and I have to work. But I also care a lot and I focus a lot on gratification. When someone tells me, "Oh, Cecilia, you did a great job. You were very good." Obviously, you didn't pay me more, but you gratified me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to work even better tomorrow. I'm
Mhm.
going to come to work motivated. I'm not to be like this or lazy. I'm not going to fall asleep when. So
Um,
this is how, according to me, you try and solve this disengagement, as you said.
oh, fantastic, fantastic. Well, I think, Cecilia, that you point on in terms of your philosophy on leadership and how you approach it. I think is really great, and I thank you for it. Um, let's look at if you have some parting words of wisdom you'd like to share with the audience about moving forward in a world that's sometimes overwhelming. In other words, how can people continue to move forward, still accomplishing their goals, personal goals and organizational goals? If you can provide, let's say, one example of what people can do to do their best moving forward.
Yes, again, I think that this is more or less related to what I said before.
Mhm.
Motivating people
Yes,
for me is very important. I mean, not taking for granted that people are working for you
right,
just because you pay them. If you
right.
motivate people, if you say, you did an excellent job today,
Mhm.
or today you were even better than you were yesterday, I'm very happy with you. I think we could even celebrate this day because today it was a great success for all of us. Then I think that people are really going to work more, to be more motivated.
Yes,
But according to me, but I have to be honest, there is a but,
yes,
because in Italy, more or less, okay, I don't like to be very to talk in general terms or to
sure,
generalize, but in Italy, compared to other countries, even the US
yeah,
or Germany, even Great Britain,
sure.
France, in countries, Spain, the countries I work with,
Uh-huh.
I think that in Italy, it is quite difficult to find someone who really acknowledges your, let's say, your strength. I mean, too often people take for granted that you have to do it because you get paid. Hmm?
Right,
This is not a criticism. Don't misunderstand me.
sure,
I'm
yeah,
not saying that people are bad in Italy compared to other countries,
sure,
but I think that as far as my cultural background, as my experience, my professional experience in other countries is that in Italy it's much more difficult to
sure.
be rewarded for what you are and even for your enthusiasm. Because, for example, sometimes I was even criticized
Mhm.
because I'm too enthusiastic at work.
Mhm.
You know, is it? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Is
that's
it
that's
clear to
happened
you?
to me. That happened to me before too. I was working at the Pentagon. I was there 12 years, and this high-ranking fellow came up to me. He said, "Paul," he said, "it's impossible that you're happy every day. You're smiling, and he said you're faking it." said, no, no, I'm not faking. I said, I'm really happy with what I'm doing. In fact, I don't like what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing. I had a passion for it. But I think in his mind, he couldn't believe it because it wasn't him, but it was me, right? So, but yeah, you could be joyous. And if I weren't joyous, I would never have been there 12 straight years, right? I loved
Yes.
every day. Yes.
And
So,
in fact, I say you have to look for happiness. Okay.
yes,
Happiness
yes,
is not coming to you. You
right,
have to look for it. Okay. I had, and I had some, let's say, very bad and negative experiences in life. And I can't say, oh, I'm the happiest person all over the world. Oh, you
yeah,
know, but every day, really, when I say I look for happiness,
yes,
it's really that I believe in it. I
yes,
want to look for my personal happiness.
yes.
Even, for example, recently I was at the concert of Bruce Springsteen.
Mhm.
It was a big success for me personally because I saw, let's say, I listened to my myth. I saw Bruce Springsteen singing and dancing with the boss. There were
Right.
a lot of people, so I exchanged jokes and comments with people who were there, and it was fantastic for me.
Oh,
it
yeah.
it gave me really happiness.
Mhm.
And okay, I didn't gain any money. I spent money to go to the concert.
Oh,
I
yeah.
spent a lot of money to
Uh,
watch Bruce Springsteen, to stay at the hotel, to travel there by car.
yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It
Right.
was just a very positive experience for me. And
Yeah,
it is just like having this interview. Okay, so
sure.
someone asked me, why are you having this interview? Because I said, according to me, I like to talk in front of people. I like to have an audience in front of me.
Yeah,
Even as interpreter, I'm
yeah.
accustomed to speaking to people, to talking to people.
Mhm.
And for me, it's great to be here and talking with you today,
Uh,
having these friends today who are listening to us. For me,
exactly.
it's great. Huh?
Uh, let's take, and thank you so much. Let's see if I can share this screen here because you're also involved in one of your businesses here. If you could just share just a bit about it. Can you see the screen there? Events and
Yes,
uniqueness.
yes.
Yes. If you could just share some finer points about it, and then we'll get into our closing.
Okay, so this events and uniqueness is the name. It's me. I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
my company. Let's say it's event organization because I also organize events,
Sure.
and I wanted it to be named Events and Uniqueness because I really focus on being unique. I
Yeah.
don't know whether I am. I mean, it's up to person to say whether I'm unique or not. Anyway, I want myself and everything I do to be unique. This
Yeah.
is the reason why I call it events and uniques, because I want my events organization to be different from other, let's say, ordinary organizations. I
Yes.
want people, when they see this brochure, they immediately understand that it is my brochure. Because,
Exactly.
first of all, they see, okay, they read the names and they also see the colors, which I love. For example, the black how the sfondo, how
Yeah.
the
Format.
background,
Yes.
black background with this light blue colors. The circle, which according to me, circle represent perfection. So this is something which really represent me.
Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay, so we're coming to a close here. And of course, we want to thank the people who are with us today, McFrancis, Lorenza, and of course, I believe Arafat, who is there. Hi, McFrancis. How are you doing today? Fantastic. We're honored to have you here. And if you want to share some insight, Cecilia, in regards to some people who have been a part of this occasion, uh, uh, you want to talk to and thank a few people there?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank you, Paul, for this
Thank
because
you.
you really made me a great present today, the most beautiful present in my life, because I was really honored to be interviewed by you.
Yeah.
and for taking your time to interview me. So I really thank you. And I would
Thank you
also
for your
like
time.
to thank, uh-huh. You're welcome. I'm honored to be interviewed by you. And I would like to thank, I don't know if Alessandro is not here. Alessandro Carli is not here, I
Yes,
think.
he's been interviewed with another podcast.
Ah, okay, but later. Okay,
Yes,
anyway, I would like to thank some other people who
sure.
allowed me to get in touch with you. Arafat, I think, is here.
Yes,
So he's really the promoter of our interview
yes,
today, because if I hadn't participated in his Master X
yes,
sessions, I wouldn't have met you, and so you wouldn't have interviewed me. So thank you, Arafat, for
yes,
giving me this huge opportunity. Huh?
yes.
And then I also would like to thank another person. I
Sure.
think she's not here. She said she would, but maybe she had got some other commitment in the meantime. And
Uh-huh.
she is, I call her my community boss, and
Yes,
she's Ana Alvarez,
yes.
because she's a person I write for. She's got a community with her husband,
And
and I
she's
write,
out of Spain.
sorry?
She's based in Spain.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
she's in Spain.
okay,
Mhm.
fantastic.
And in fact, I also suggested her, I gave her your contact and suggested her to get in contact with you.
Okay,
And so I thank her very much, because it was through her that I knew Alessandro Carli. Then I met Arafat, I met you. So you see, it's a connection.
it's a community.
And I see that there is also Lorenza Iannoli. Oh, thank
Yes,
you very much, Lorenza.
yes,
And I think I feel a little bit embarrassed that she's listening to me, because she's a tutor. And so
yes.
I don't know. I said, at the end, you're going to give me a grade, and you can say whatever you want. You can criticize me, because even positive criticism is always welcome, because I can always improve myself. I don't say, "Oh, I'm the best. I can't. Nobody else can do better than I do." So thank you very much, Lorenzo, for taking your time.
Yes, she
And
said you don't
Ducis
have to
in
be. She
fundo.
said you don't have to be embarrassed.
Okay.
Uh,
And Ducis in fundo, McFrancis, Steven.
yes, yes.
I call him my AI. He's my artificial
It's your
intelligence man.
intelligence. Okay, fantastic.
Oh, hi. And I'm his Dino,
Yes.
you know, because
Uh-huh.
I'm prehistory compared to him. He's a very
Yes.
developed person. He's
Uh-huh.
very good with technology. I'm lagging behind with my, let's say, prehistoric devices. So thank you very much, Stephen, for being here and for taking your time.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So let's look at it now, Cecilia. Thank you for bringing your global perspective, wisdom, and heart-centered leadership to today's episode. Your insights remind us that leadership is not just about titles, which we all should know. It's about transformation, alignment, deep personal responsibility, and most importantly, leadership is all about impact. And so, for everyone who is listening, if you are ready to elevate your leadership, lead with more purpose, and embrace the journey of conscious growth, be sure to connect with Cecilia Di Pierro. Her voice is one we need in today's evolving leadership landscape. So, my time is up, and I thank you so much, Cecilia, and for everyone who tuned in and listened. And we really appreciate everything that you provided today. And as Lorenza said, you have nothing to be embarrassed about. You were great. So we're very happy to have you on here, and just continued excellence in all that you do.
Okay, so thanks again, Paul, for taking your time to interview me. Thanks everybody who took her time, their time to listen to me, and I'm very happy. So I'm going to sing and dance with the boss now.
All right. All right. And then we want to, you have a wonderful day, Cecilia.
Okay,
Thank you for your time,
okay.
and I'll
So,
get this to you.
okay. Thank
So,
you very much, Paul,
thank
and
you.
have a great day.
Thank
And we
you.
meet on other channels. Bye bye, Paul. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Okay.
Bye. Bye bye. Bye.
Stephen, see
Bye.
you. Okay.